This is the last one. Okay. Wudu, as I mentioned, anything and everything in when it comes to ibadat, when it comes to salah and wudu, there's something called furud, there's something called wajibat, shurut, and sunan. Let's start with shurut, because obviously anything we do, I said إنما الأعمال بالنيات, that was the first thing, condition you need to have when it comes to ibadah, niyyah. You start with the niyyah that you're making a niyyah for wudu. The second one is before you start your wudu, one of the things you have to do is إزالة ما يمنع وصوله. What is the meaning of this? That is to remove something that is actually prohibiting the water from entering. If you're wearing nail polish, is an example. Nowadays they're calling nail polish wudu nail polish. I have to check. Yes. This one I have to do some research on because I don't know how. But anyways, this is I'm giving you a general thing that you're supposed to remove anything that's stopping the water from entering. Al-Islam, again, everything when it comes to ibadah, Islam is one of the conditions. Tuhuriyatul ma wal-ibaha, that ibaha is strictly a Hanbali position. What does it mean? Purity of the water. That I think we mentioned before this. Ibaha, let's say you go stole water and you did wudu, the Hanbalis would consider this not wudu. Because you've done an act of haram to do something, this is strictly a Hanbali position. Even a lot of the later Hanbalis said the wudu is valid, but the act itself is haram because he stole the water. This is just to give you an example. But the mu'tamad is that they don't accept this act of ibadah, that if you stole the water and did wudu, they will say this wudu is not valid. But generally the commentary is it's haram, but his wudu itself is valid because if he's fulfilled all the conditions, the wudu is valid. Tamyiz and aql, again, it goes back to the ones we mentioned. Age of discernment, that is 7. Al-aql, someone who is sane. Izalatu kharij min as-sabil. You have to remove anything that is impure from the two exits or anything that's even on your body. So before you start doing wudu, if you have plenty of blood on your hand, you want to remove that first and then you start your wudu. So if there's something in your body, the first thing you'll do is remove that first, you start your wudu.
So if you brush your teeth and you'll make wudu, you should make sure your mouth is toothpaste free before making wudu.
Yeah, so you want to remove any. I don't know if toothpaste is. I don't know what you use, but let's just say there was something impure in your mouth for some reason.
Oh, only the jazz stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, anything that is impure on your body,
okay.
You remove that first. And let's say there was blood, obviously, you want to make sure you clean it and then you start your wudu. Yeah. Then let's start with furud. Okay. The Hanbalis, madmada and wastanshaqa is part of what is the meaning of madmada and wastanshaqa, to goggle your mouth. Rinsing, basically pulling the water into your nose and then blowing it out. I know the Hanafis usually stare at me because the Hanafis don't consider this a furud of the wudu. So the Hanbalis, once you start washing your face, but the washing the hands is sunnah, but we'll come back to that soon. When you first start, let's say, washing your hands, not when you're getting up from your sleep. Let's say when you start wudu, you wash your hands first, you wash your mouth and put water in your nose. This is considered a furud in the Hanbalis. So you have to do it, i.e., you cannot drop it. The Hanafis will tell you can actually just wash your face. It's or you even for us, you can skip the hands unless you woke up from your night sleep. I'm talking about washing your mouth and then putting water in your nose. Like, let's say you goggle it, you have to move it back and forth. Madmada is you move water from one place to another. You spit it out. You you have to sniff the water in and then blow it out. This should be, if you do it together, it's sunnah. If you break it, also it's ibah. I don't know how you guys do it, but I usually do it together. If you break it up, no problem. Is that clear? So rinsing your mouth, putting water in your nose and blowing it out, and washing your face is considered one move for the Hanbalis.
This is because of
the hadith of
the ayah of the Quran that the face. So this is included in the face.
Yes. There's a hadith narrated by the Mawla of Uthman, the freed slave of Uthman. When Uthman radiallahu anhu was doing it, he washed his mouth and the nose, and then he washed his face, right? So the Hanafis, anything that's in the Quran, they call that fard. And usually that's how they differentiate between fard and wajib. So for us, we use the hadith of Uthman as a command, and it's considered a part of your wajh. وَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَاءِ. So that part, they use that as your furud. They don't consider the washing of the mouth and the nose as furud. But for us, face includes your mouth and your nose and obviously the next. It's all one.
How this during Ramadan?
Do not sniff too much in Ramadan. You just put little and you blow it out. So let me give you an example. For some reason, your nose is blocked. You find this in other books of the Hanbali Fiqh. You can just wet your hands, put a little bit inside, you're covered. This is just to put water inside. That's it. If you're like scared that you may sniff the water all the way in, let's say, you can either do a little bit or you're scared, wet, because the goal is to put water in your nose. Keep that as a goal. This, yes.
I misunderstood. When you were describing earlier, so you do not you move around the mouth. You have to be careful not to swallow it, right?
Yeah, do not swallow it.
Same is for the nose. I understood that you need to sniff it up.
Sniff and blow it out. So you take the water in,
yeah,
and you blow it out.
Okay, so it doesn't have to go all the way.
It doesn't have to go all the way. The condition is the water has to go in. That's it. And the face, what starts is what is in between the ears. So you need to make sure everything that's up to obviously the jaw, the lower part of the jaw is what the Hanbalis would consider the face. I mean, you go below, and obviously the top part of your head. That is the face. Did I cover the boundaries? Between the ears.
The entire beard.
Not, yeah. So if you let's say you have a beard, it's almost impossible for the water to go. Yes. So in that way, you can do this, but that is a sunnah. Okay. So your job is to make sure you wash the face. If you have a beard, it's almost impossible for you to make sure that it didn't go into every single cell of yours. So at least you just wash whatever you can. If there's any open space, you can wash it. Let's say eyes, all of this is open space. Here is all open space. You can wash those. The beard, obviously, it is recommended to just do this, but it's not a furud of wudu. Obviously, for women, it's just clear washing. Ghaslul yadayn. Yes.
So if you're fasting, can you gargle or can you not gargle?
You can gargle. You don't just have to make sure you don't swallow it. Okay, Ghaslul yadayn, again, when you start washing your hands from the beginning, up to the marafiq is up to the elbows, including the elbows to be precise. Okay?
But the difference between gargling and madmada?
Gargling you don't have to do that.
Yeah, not that.
Oh, not that.
Yeah, okay.
Madmada is to move water from rinsing your mouth.
There's no gargling.
Gargling is when you take it to your
Right, so we can't
the water is going down at that point, I can tell you. So washing your face means for us your mouth, nose, and then you wash the actual face itself. The next one is hands, starting with your hands itself all the way to the elbows. Mashur Ras, there's ikhtilaf in this. I'll mention the Hanbali position, starting from the beginning, going not the neck, going all the way to the back, and then bringing it back again. Do not do the neck. There's no.
You don't have to wipe the neck.
There is nothing about the neck. It's only back and forth. I've seen plenty of people do that. So I've always they start doing all. There's nothing about the neck itself.
It's not a Hanbali thing. It's basically nothing.
I mean, I have to ask the people who have actually adopted this, because remember, sometimes you notice this more among certain cultures. Even if somebody is Hanafi, if you go to a different country, they might not have that same habit.
Because in India, at least
I've seen this.
So that you wipe your neck.
So neck is not part of the ras itself. You don't consider part of the head. Head is from the beginning to the back, and you come back again, complete.
Yeah, but even when they do the neck,
it's not a big deal.
Not even that part of the muscle. Right?
Oh.
What is done is, if you look at the sequence, you do that first, then you do what it is, right?
Then
they go like.
Yes, I have no idea where they got that from.
So this is not part of the muscle itself. This is the seed.
Yes, actually, I have the hadith itself does not comment about the neck. It only talks about the head. When they say ma'sur ras, it includes the ear. So that means you'll do in and out of the ear. Okay, so in front and back, in and out of the ear. So in, out. Then ghaslur rijlain, only up to the ka'bain, because this is in the Quran itself. I've seen some brothers, mashallah, they go I don't know what they're only up to the Ka'bains, including the two knees is what you'll wash. So ghusl rijlain is up to the ankles. You don't have to go all, I mean, if you're doing it, that's up to you, but the bare minimum, yes, you cover the feet up to the ankles.
We cautious to go like in between the knuckles.
That's a sunnah.
Okay.
That's a sunnah. So that will cover, inshallah.
So, just one word with respect to the rinsing of the mouth in the nose. Is that the same in the Maliki and Shafi'i as well? Or,
I have to check on the Malik, but I know the Hanafis are the most lenient on this. I know my mother. I mean, I have some obviously Asian family. I have never seen them saying that it's wajib, but I have to check on the commentary on the Malikis and the Shafi'is. But I know for the Hanafis for sure, they overlook especially the rinsing of the nose is always a little light on their side. Tartib and Muwala. The Shafi'is and the Hanbalis are very strict on the tartib because of the Quran. In the Quran itself, وَغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. So there's some grammar part in this. I won't get into that. But why they use the Hanbalis and the Shafi'is use this tartib is the sequence has to be exact. You don't jump. You don't start with the leg, then wash the face. The sequence has to be exact. This is the position of the Shafi'i and the Hanbalis because of the sequence in the Quran itself.
So what if somebody forgets? Like you wash your face, you start the right way, but you forget their hands and then you wash the feet.
Just go back to the hand and then wash the. So let's say you dropped something. Okay, let's say you went in sequence and you forgot the hand. You started washing your feet. Go back to your hand, start your hand, finish your hand, and go to your feet, and then finish the feet. You don't have to start from the beginning. You own.
Like you can go back and wash your hand, but the next step is to do the masa and then the legs. Right?
Yes.
So you have to do masa or you just
no. You always have to go. Whatever you missed, you go back to and follow the sequence. You can never skip the sequence.
you have to do the masa.
Yes, that's your. What is the meaning of mawala? Is basically if somebody, let's say, calls you, you're just chilling on the. Let's say you're doing wudu. You just answer the call. You're like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" And you're having a long conversation. Obviously, things have become dry. There is no mawala. It has to be done one after the other, and you should not be based. I'm not talking about you going. People used to do this in the Muslim countries. They will wash their everything in the bathroom, and they will come out. There's usually a wudu place. They will wash their leg in the wudu place. So that distance is nothing. There is still mawala, but you're talking about somebody who's just, answers the call and then he looks around. Or in this case, he's not having that mawala. That is, there's no continuity. It has to be non-stop.
I heard that if your body parts don't become dry,
Right.
it's okay.
Yes.
If they become dry, you gotta redo the wudu.
If it becomes dry, but remember if you're in a room that's well heated, those things become dry very quick also. So yes, but remember of your conditions that's also around you.
And no, basically.
Yeah. Dry would be a good way to understand it, but if you're in an area that's extremely dry, or if the heater's on or that sort, that's another one. Time is it? Can I do 2 more minutes and we'll stop?
Sure.
Okay. Wajibat tasmiyah is basically to say Bismillah. This is a wajib in the Hanbali madhab. La wudu liman lam yudhkar ismallah. There is no wudu for the one who does not mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is strictly a Hanbali position.
Internally or verbally?
Verbally. So if you're in the bathroom, generally this particular thing, I've asked multiple times on this, because nowadays, back in the days, the bathroom and the wudu area was different.
Yeah.
Obviously this is like a modern fiqh. People, mashallah, like to have massive bathrooms nowadays in their houses. If you go to your home countries, at least I remember when I was visiting, the bathroom was far away from the house. I had to do a walk. So that's how traditionally bathrooms were. It was not even inside the house. It was like outside, far away. So obviously now, generally the commentary that I've received from the people of knowledge is that just mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do your wudu, because otherwise you'll never mention Bismillah in your wudus. Unless and until you're in a wudu area. Most, even let's say the bathrooms here, they're all inside. If you're going to do wudu, it's inside a bathroom. So it is overlooked for this one. To say Bismillah, if you forget, it's overlooked.
Okay.
If you forget, some commentaries I have found, say Bismillah as soon as you remember. But the general relied opinion is like if you forget, it's overlooked. So the next one, غسل الكفين ثلاثا. If you get up from your night sleep, washing your hands 3 times is a wajib in the Hanbali madhab.
So how do you define 3 times? Because you want to.
It's running water, so it's hard 3 times. It's hard when you have running water. Back in the days, you pour little, you wash, you pour little, you wash. But when you have running water, it's pretty easy. When they say 3 times, obviously, I don't know how to calculate when it comes to running water. So that's clear? Sleep. Yeah, perfect, exactly. Yeah. It's sunnah. So that one would be considered sunnah. So if you're just generally washing your hands to start wudu, it's sunnah. You say Bismillah and you wash your hands on a normal, like let's say I'm going to do wudu now, it would be considered sunnah. But if you're getting up from your sleep because of the hadith, لا يدري أينما بات يدكم, you do not know where your hands were at, basically. They use that hadith as it's an obligation to wash your hands after your night sleep. Okay. I think we'll stop here because the sunnah is because time is, they pray 10, right?
1:45. One last question.
Yes.
So.
9:45? Oh, I better stop.
So, the night is basically you slept so that you don't know where your hands are.
Yes.
Sometimes they go sleep in the afternoon, wake up after 2-3 hours.
Afternoon is there's no hadith on the afternoon part, so they don't apply it. They use the hadith literally. That's why remember sometimes the ikhtilaf is, so let me give you one example. We join prayers here, right? So let's say when it's snowing or when it's raining, I've seen MCMC, they join prayer. So there is no hadith itself of joining prayer for Dhuhr and Asr. There are narrations of the Sahaba doing it in Medina for Maghrib and Isha. So the Hanbalis will allow it for Maghrib and Isha, but they will not allow it for Dhuhr and Asr. Because they stick to the literal narration, and some of the ones who made qiyas saying that if it's allowed here, why not allow it for Dhuhr and Asr? And they expanded it. The Hanafis are the most strictest on this. They would just say, Ibn Taymiyyah's position is as-salat, to do the safest, the correct thing is to just pray the prayer on its time. So this is why it depends on how literal you want to get when it comes to all of these details. So what the narration that's found is strictly on Maghrib and Isha. There's nothing on Dhuhr and Asr. The Hanbalis. The Hanafis are very strict. There is no joining, like for no, you don't join. Yeah, join.
So this is a hadith for the Maghrib and Isha, but not for Dhuhr and Asr.
There's narrations of the Sahaba that they used to do it for Maghrib and Isha. That the Sahaba used to do this, but there is no narration of Dhuhr and Asr. Because of that, the Hanbalis obviously literally took that as it is and stuck to Maghrib and Isha.
Based on what? Who expanded this? Like
This you will find this in a lot of modern scholars. I don't know if somebody from the early generations did this. So one of my teachers, he did a bahth, it's all in Arabic. If you guys want, I can give that article next time. He mentioned all the narrations on this particular topic of jam' fil matar, that is to join in rain. And there is literally, he couldn't find one narration for Dhuhr and Asr.
So all of these are, even from Maghrib and Isha, it's following the Sahaba. It's not hadith from Sallallahu.
Yeah, but remember the Sahaba would not do something like this unless, remember the Sahaba, when it comes to the ibadat, they're ma'soom. When it comes to acts of ibadah, because if you go to see Salat al-Eid, the Hanafis take it from Ibn Mas'ud. It doesn't go back to the Prophet. Are you going to accuse, if Ibn Mas'ud was leading us in prayer, you will pray behind him, I would pray behind him. So look at it that way. You want to be a little careful on this.
No, I agree. It's just that I always have people get hadith and that's it.
Yeah. So it's called mawquf, but you can take ahkam. If it is an opinion, you don't have to take it. But if he's giving you an ahkam, you take it because you believe that they're ma'soom. Because all the hadith we get from the Sahaba. Can you start questioning, did you really hear? So the Sahaba are considered ma'soom. We take from them without questioning them. Alright, so inshallah we'll end here. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa jazakumullahu khairan. Hopefully I didn't bore you with too many details.
The next Wednesday.
you guys find any mistakes.
Yeah, please, inshallah, if you guys see anything we missed or we made a mistake on,
Typo right there.
we're always.
The email was sent out on the same one that everybody.